So here we are, the MLS Jam, ready to spread the word and spread the love and awareness of chiropractic through the Facebooks and the social medias all over the world. Please, Emily, can you start us off with a little intro to yourself?
Yeah. So I have personally been a chiropractic patient, and I use patient for a reason here, since I was born. So grew up in it, but not in the way that we understand chiropractic. We went once a month, really entrenched in the medical world. I come from a family of MDs, not my parents, but extended family, and went to a chiropractor who was, more mechanistic and really like he was 300-pound dude and just really, really intense adjustments. Now, I never had a problem with that. I didn't know any different, but I also didn't understand chiropractic. I was like, oh, just something you do once a month. Then it was not the way that I understand now. And I am so grateful that going to school when and where I did, I was entrenched in the MLS world from the very beginning. I went to school with Arnaud Bernier's son, Boo. So he was a good friend of mine there, and we were just in it all the way. And I can't honestly imagine where I would be otherwise, because I probably would have followed what I knew and just taken all the classes, and who knows what kind of chiropractor I would be. But we there was a point where 4 nights a week I was teaching. There was two different MLS clubs, a basic and advanced, and then all the stuff on throughout, and all the seminars and facilitating by the end. So it just truly shaped my entire chiropractic world, and I don't really know anything else. So I'm just so grateful to still be there, helping to teach others. And teaching is just something that I'm very, very passionate about. So my office, it's a very highly education based office. So I'm constantly talking and teaching through there. We have students coming in and out all the time, which is a lot of fun as well. And then getting to spend the time at seminars with you guys. So in a nutshell.
Nice. Thank you so much for that share, and thank you for allowing us into your little bit of your journey. That's beautiful. Jim, please.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, guys. I got a late start with chiropractic, probably about when I was about 20. Hadn't even heard of the word chiropractic, actually. In my undergraduate school, I had took a history of medicine class, which is kind of interesting that even in that class, Arno would say there's no accidents. On purpose, I heard the word chiropractic in there, even though it was a history of medicine. So I had a series of people just kind of light a fire kind of underneath my direction, kind of put a honing signal and a beacon out. So many people, maybe just, like their story, really enjoyed sciences, really enjoyed the body, really enjoyed working with my hands. But boy, I had two chiropractors, one chiropractor that was just on a different journey. The other chiropractor really just took me under his wing, and it kind of set the tone for me as a teacher now to serve and to breathe life into so many other students. And so this chiropractor went to chiropractic school in New York and was really encouraging me to go to Life University. So that was just amazing in itself. And when I came down to Life in 1994, I had an illness that changed the trajectory of my life, because I got to go from chiropractic philosophy to real life, put it into practice. And a series of people came along on that path. If you start on any journey, it's amazing who shows up, right? And so many people on that journey have showed up in my life. And Arnaud showed up, thankfully, halfway through my chiropractic education. And the truth of what he said and how he resonated, my heart instantly leaped. And I knew that there was more of a fullness to chiropractic, kind of what I had already known as a little kid in my little town in Massachusetts in the Berkshires. always knew that there was another way of natural living or kind of living from the inside out. But never did I know that a man like Arnaud Bernier could say enough words to change my heart and to just light a fire to just jump on this path of mastery in a real authentic way, because I had met so many amazing chiropractors that were on the stage, but he came down from the stage and was quick to come alongside of us, to serve alongside of us, to be real and authentic. And that's really the heart and soul of MLS approach, which is applied not only to the art of chiropractic, but life and living, and which encompasses everything. So, and here we are with you beautiful people, just here talking, chatting about real life and what's happening, and how can we kind of track along with a path that leads us to have a compass, have a direction. So from a path of not really knowing to just embodying and living chiropractic, to raising my children, to serving my family and all my friends, and to, just like Emily said, a teacher, which means to impart something, to give knowledge, to give wisdom and understanding, give a person a gem that can start to grow and start to just flourish within them, and each person can shine. And so that's my passion, is to see them shine so well and so bright. So thank you so much, Anthony.
Beautiful share. Thank you for giving us some more insight to your journey and your path. And it's amazing that it happens so kind of effortlessly with you, for you. Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. Thank you. Emily, can you share with us how you're able to implement the MLS approach, lifestyle, and message into your practice and your flow?
Again, I think that it comes from, serving from an open heart, and it's all the little things that you do in your office. It's from the tracking to piece. It's from, the really specific and the adjustments that are just, it's more finesse than anything else. I guess I get a lot of people in my office that have been elsewhere, and this is kind of their last chance they're giving to chiropractic. For whatever reason, just an experience they had, and a friend says, hey, just go try one more time. And those are ones that always reach me for many reasons. It makes me a little sad in some ways, but it also makes me very joyful that I get to be there and be that person to tell them that, again, there's a different way. And just seeing people from the little infants, the mom who's so excited that her son pooped for the first time, after a month of birth and absolutely nothing, and just the joy that you see from something like that, all the way through to, well, of course, the kids that have been adjusted every week of their entire life, and you get to see them grow up and be a part of that, to the people in their 90s that come in and like to tease me for being so young, but still get to appreciate the message and are learning with me. So it really is that I'm a part of their lives, both through my hands and through my adjustments, and also that I get to connect with them every day, and I like to drop the little tidbits here and there throughout.
Beautiful. That's so cool that you're able to be there for that kind of community with that kind of support and presence. That's absolutely beautiful. Thank you for that. Jim, question goes to you. Please share with us some fascinating tidbits from your practice.
Well, just to echo kind of what Emily is saying. Now, my office is about 4 miles that way to Life University East Campus. And, it's so often you can feel like you're on your own island, right? By yourself, even being so close to people that are just on fire for the principle and more of the fullness of chiropractic. And so behind me, there's a spine picture, and a friend of ours had done this sketch through a watercolor, and then, had painted it. The quote says, what's essential to life is invisible to the eye. Now, as a chiropractor, we know the life force, the quickening that gets all the cells to work together as a team, the life within us, the core of who we are as a human being. You know, there's a lot that's invisible to the eye, but it's actually on the screen of our mind. And what the MLS approach does is it furthers the conversation that we get at school. School starts the conversation, but it's not about a patient, it's about a person. It's about a human being. And that first starts with you. Who you are as a human being, Arno reminds us, is who you are as a chiropractor. It's evident that Anthony and both Emily have poured into themselves in chiropractic school, because you can't fake that. It comes out of your heart because it spills over from a genuine heart that is full to serve. And the same thing happens in my heart too, is that as I get to go throughout the day, and you know, in MLS, we talk about many things. We know that our words have a meaning, they have power, they carry an intentionality. And so how we speak to ourselves and how we speak to others, it's a get to serve people. Not a got to, but a get to, which means it's a privilege. And so I see that, I feel that from both of you, Anthony and Emily. And that's the invitation, is in school, that we would just continue to surround ourselves with people that we begin to fill this conversation up. Because inside, when you're in practice, your mind, it's invisible. Nobody else sees these things. But what can you scan 360 in your mind and around you that will encourage you, that will inspire you to speak into someone else's life? Because if we strip everything away in chiropractic office, it's a table, it's artwork that furthers a conversation about something bigger, life, and it's about them. It's about who they are. And as Luke Orletto says, it's who you be. And so as you become, people are human beings, they're becomings, they're constantly who they are. And so that encouragement comes from a dialogue, a constant conversation, that when you leave the bubble of chiropractic school, now technology is great because here we are having a great conversation from East Coast to West Coast. And I love that. And we can use that in such a powerful way to continue that. But when we are with people, the encouragement comes from what has been going on the screen of your mind and what has been written on your heart that you can share with people. This is why CalJam was formed. This is why New Beginnings was formed. This is why DE was formed, because it was chiropractors coming together, brotherhood, sisterhood, to encourage each other so that we could then be filled up and then overflow into people's lives. So what bubbles out of my heart is that's why I really enjoy being around the students too. As I pour into, right, as you give, the love you give away is the love you keep. And so when you authentically give away, you receive that love. And so in practice, it's absolutely vital, because if it shifts from, there's a business aspect, right, to chiropractic, but it's not a business. If it moves from a person to a patient, there's a subtle shift, but there's something inside of us that we're training on our mind, on our heart, on our being, that is what BJ said, like a slipping and checking. And that helps us kind of give that trajectory when no one else is around to inspire us or encourage us. We have these on our mind and our heart. It's imprinted, it's written there. And so it flows out. And then the people that we get to serve are encouraged. They too go off and they share authentically. And the world just shines brighter. And isn't that, if everyone in this world would shine brighter right where they're at, then this world gets brighter and so much better. The approach has served me in practice the same way going through school, the same conversations. Now we just tweak it a little bit to just share in a way that helps people kind of get into the driver's seat, right? Because when you learn to drive, you don't really care on how you get there until you're in the driver's seat. So we put people in the driver's seat, right? So that they can start to just take in digestible pieces what it is for them to sort of pop their head up with the busyness of life and just see that they matter. They matter. And there's these beautiful shirts going around that says "You Matter" by Verana on the East Coast here in Life University. So many people are shining in so many ways, but it comes from this conversation vitalistically that there's so much more. And so this MLS approach happens to a spiritual conversation, an emotional conversation, a mental conversation, and also that there's so much more than the physical.
Wow. I know Emily's probably thinking the same thing. There was so much gold in that, for crying out loud. Like, that is such an amazing share, Jim. I cannot thank you enough for that. That was absolutely cool. And I really cannot thank you both for paving a way for me to follow. I definitely have been picking up the breadcrumbs that you both have left.
It's so cool to be a part of people's journeys. And I mean, a part, sometimes it's even small. One thing that stuck with me, the quote of "you never know how far reaching something you may do will go," to super summarize. But I remember staffing years ago and helping. There was a girl, and she was very, very quiet, very timid adjustments. And, I spent maybe 10 minutes total with her over this seminar, and, just explain things from my perspective. And, I actually didn't see her again for many years, but she came and shadowed at my office years later and said, "Hey, this was my turning point." And, she stuck with MLS even though I was across the country. And it was really, really cool because, again, I remembered her, but it was such a small interaction for me that was so huge for her, which was just, so cool. So it's nice to be a part of, people's journeys in that way. So it's just really, really cool to be a part of those different pieces and stages in people's journeys.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah.
So how cool does that feel to be a part of that one little blip in time? She comes back years later,
Right?
and is like, "You changed my life." That's so rad.
Take for granted any moment.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Please, Jim, if you have some tales from the trenches, if you will.
Years when I met Arnaud, I was shadowing my chiropractor. I thought I had it all down with a few moves, and this was going to be chiropractic and the old flying 7, just 7 moves in the cervicals, thoracics, and pelvis. And it seemed boring at the time, halfway through school. And then I meet through my friends, Arnaud Bernier. And one of the things that he said was, learn to adjust every vertebra in all its possible listings, which just blew me away because it was like, I don't know about that C6 to T3. I'm not really sure about that T9 to L2. Kind of no man's land. But so much more that rocked me to my core was when he said, who you are as a human being is who you are as a chiropractor. So it was a shift. Now it was like, whoa, there's so much more than the physical that now just began to climb the ladder to the mental and emotional and the spiritual. And so friends of mine were on staff, and half my life, so I've been on staff like 25 years almost, serving and leading and watching people grow up and stuff is such a joy. And to see them step into a place of light and service. And Arnaud had a vision years ago. He said 3,000 points of light of people on this globe, right? Just to start there, that people would shine for the beauty of chiropractic, the science, art, and the philosophy of life and living from the inside out. And so as Arnaud was driving this car, and I was sort of climbed into the trunk, if you will, and I felt like he didn't know who I was. And then I sort of like slipped into the back seat, so to speak, metaphorically. And then before you know it, he's looking in the rear view mirror like, who's this guy keeps showing up? And then little by little, I'm in the passenger seat. And then eventually he's calling me brother, and he's saying, you just keep showing up. And I made a silent commitment to myself. If I just keep showing up, and isn't that true of life, of anything? If you just keep showing up, if you listen, if you lean in, you just start to get immersed in the beauty of whatever it is. And so right from halfway through chiropractic school, I met him in 1996, the truth of what he was saying blew my heart open. As BJ Palmer said, when love and skill come together, expect a masterpiece. Now listen, Dee Palmer breathed into BJ. BJ developed and inspired people in 1961 when he passed. You have Lyle Sherman, you've got Sid Williams and Reggie Gold and Tom Gilardi, that then breathed life into Sherman College and other schools. That boom, a Frenchman coming from France named Arnaud Bernier now receives a torch at the highest level of love and skill masterfully. We are a part of that. I'm a part of that next generation. And I can speak for me and Wade. We're not going to drop that torch. We're passing it to you guys. And to see you guys shine means we didn't, and we're not going to skip a generation, because no one's going to find a green book and blow it off and dust it off. We're going to keep just shining and coming alongside of you guys so that you can shine and begin to share the authentic version and reality of practice and life from what has been handed off to us, and will continue to be refined and continue to evolve and to continue to grow. And so for me, the joy on staff is to watch people grow and then authentically take what we've kind of poured into them and make it their own, but it's the common ingredients, right? There's 100,000 chiropractors in the world, and a small version of that, maybe 30,000 or more, which is growing, will serve the principle. But a smaller group of that may have gotten stuck in techniques. But now technique becomes artistry. And now the common theme, the commonality, the common ingredients are the conversation that we have in MLS: love, skill, precision, ease, gentleness, a human being, a human becoming, not just a patient. So to watch all this unfold, and you know what, for me, to grow as a father, as a friend, all of this conversation has helped me in practice and in my friends, my family. This conversation is about life and living, and so it goes much broader than the walls of your office. Which in the beginning, for 2 years, I didn't even have an office. I just went with my portable table and would serve people from the back of a restaurant, and then go to mansions. How do you get invited to go to a mansion from the back of a restaurant? It's because your heart is to serve, and you don't even have to have a three-piece suit on to let them know that you are in a state of grounded and centered, and what you do comes at the highest level, like a samurai of love, where you will not violate them. You will serve them at a level that changes the whole field and the whole idea of chiropractic. So that when people hear that word, it's in the energy field that, whoa, what Emily is doing, what Anthony is doing, I want to hear more. I want to lean into that conversation, because it's very different when what people may have seen on YouTube. It's actually the YouTube within, and the neurospinal system and the life and the core of who they are. So it's shaped my entire life, half my life. I mean, this is how I learned my vocabulary. This is how I learned to speak, or even to share, is by just the path has been laid out that Arnaud thankfully took the time to think about, meditate, pray on, and use the words first to make an adjustment first to the mind. BJ Palmer said sometimes it can take a quarter, maybe a decade, to go through a quarter inch of skull, an idea. And so that means you've got to have some language and some precision with your words to land in the heart or in the head in such a way that will make its way to step down into the heart. And so from Arnaud Bernier to Donnie Epstein to Reggie Gold to all these other mentors that breathed into Arnaud, now that shaped my vocabulary, my way to shape and to fine tune. And I just love how you guys are shaping your vocabulary to let people see how valuable they are. And all of that is from just immersing myself from, nearly a quarter century in MLS approach, which is applied to all techniques, all avenues of life.
Holy smokes, Jim. It's going to be so awesome to have you out here in Oakland next month, because I want to have like hours long conversations and just learning more about you, about your journey into this. And since you've been a chiropractor, I mean, I'm about to be 36 in 2 weeks, and I've been bald for the last 17 years. So I don't know what that's gonna say to my future, but I'm in. I'm there. And thank you again for just seeing me, seeing Emily, seeing the new generation of chiropractors that you and Wade are passing the baton on to. I know I can probably speak for Emily in that we are not going to drop that either. So thank you for entrusting us in that. That's beautiful. I do want to make sure that I want to have each one of you just have a little ending quip, if you will, about anything else you want to share to our community, to potential chiropractors and students that can come in, like Emily was saying, that could potentially drop their old paradigm and immerse themselves in this paradigm that we have taken on for our communities, for our beings that come into us. So Emily, please, if there's anything else you'd like to share.
I'm just going to keep it really, really short and simple. Come to MLS. We will be in Oakland in a month. Come hang out with us. Come chat with us. Come learn with us.
I want to echo just what Emily said. Come and just experience. How do you describe surfing or a roller coaster? I watch it all the time. Someone gets in line at a roller coaster. They have really no idea. They really don't have much to talk about. And when they get off the line, they get off the roller coaster, man, is that conversation going, what about this? And what about that? And this? And isn't chiropractic so experiential? It's the invitation to come in, come close, know that you are safe and seen, that you matter, and that we are super excited to come alongside you and see how you shine. Not us to be on a platform or a podium, but to come alongside you the same way Arnaud came alongside me and Wade and breathe life into you and not make you another copy of us, but authentically who you are. And so at MLS, you are the center. It's an adjusting seminar, but really it's disguised as a self-discovery experience, that chiropractic really is who you are as a human being is who you are as a chiropractor. And now you don't have to shift. You don't have to play roles from chiropractic school into real life. You just keep filling your heart up, filling it over, and it spills over these conversations into people's lives, and this world gets brighter.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Emily. Let's make the world brighter. Let's keep it going. Everybody knows, reach out to us. We'll be there. We got Davenport coming up in a few weeks. We got Dallas right after that, and Oakland after that. I want to see as many people out there as we can. We love you. We see you. We hear you, and we feel you. Please, please, please take it upon yourselves to find this parallel curriculum through school and even in practice to become exactly what Jim was saying is the chiropractor you are to become. Thank you so much for your time, and we hope to see you soon.